This had to be one of those provinces for which we were eagerly, anxiously waiting, and we continued to wait, and you waited, and it was just not happening. And eventually, it finally did happen. And voila, Ontario conducted their excuse me, conducted their draw. Uh, the good thing with this draw is that, and of course we will talk about in the draw. The good thing with this draw is that it covered multitude of the programs. So first we thought it was only international student stream, then we thought it was the job offer stream, then we thought it was in-demand stream. Some people even had some other hopes, but of course this obviously at that, I mean, it eventually was only and only the employer-driven streams that happened. And excuse me, the information just got published a little while ago. The draw happened yesterday and today, so there was a mixture of some invitations being sent out yesterday, some invitations being sent out today. So what I'm talking about is Ontario finally conducted the draw. The draw was under the international student stream, employer job offer stream, in-demand skills stream. Yeah, that's primarily it. But the reason I had to do a live stream instead of just making a 2-minute, 3-minute video was because the draw for a change is very, very complex. And I'm not sure why they chose to do it in this format, but it looks like there was a lot of steam and a pent-up demand building. Some of the communities must have been complaining that they haven't conducted a draw because they did promise the REDI pilot, if you remember. I'm not sure if you did. And so I guess it was happening. Plus, if again you've been watching the live streams that we've been doing, then we've already indicated that Ontario was looking to revamp their program. They were looking to redo their program. There were some changes that were being brought in, and of course they have tabled an act in the provincial parliament whereby they would have a bit more authority in the way they are conducting their draws and the way they conduct their programs. All of that will of course be implemented in future. At this point of time, those are still to come, but of those, the salient features are that they will be able to conduct in-person interviews, that your employers can at that point of time, once that new portal is launched, will be able to send the documents to Ontario directly, and that Ontario will have the authority to cancel any applications, cancel any streams, or start a new one at their discretion. So that was the big one. But for today, let's talk about this. And this is the draw that happened. And the reason why I'm saying it's a bit complex is because they conducted draws in all these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different categories or program streams, if you would want to call it. The first one, let's start with this one. They conducted employer job offer stream for candidates in Eastern Ontario. Now, this is the first time Ontario is conducting a draw which is location or a region specific. They've never done this in the past. And now that they have done it, well, I am assuming that they might do this in the future as well. Now, what this Eastern Ontario did was it included the following census divisions. You have the Ottawa, Leeds and Grenville, Lanark, Frontenac, Peterborough, Hastings, Starmont, Dundas and Glengarry, Renfrew, Quartalix. I mean, there are so many areas. I won't go through each one of them because as we move along, you will see many more as well. So, of course, if you're interested, if you really have got the ITA, you want to check what happened to you, why didn't you get one, head over to the Ontario website. The link is in the description. I've already posted it there. And how many invitations did they get? They got quite a few invitations, right? 334 invitations were issued to the Eastern Ontario, and this was foreign worker stream, international student stream, and in-demand skill streams. All three were included. Can you believe that, right? This was pretty awesome because this was generic. This was general category. There was no specific category mentioned in this one. And did they give the score here? No, they haven't shared the score. Interesting. There should have been a score somewhere, but apparently I don't see a score here. We'll come back to that. We will probably find it in the other page here. This is the page of Ontario website where you can see how many invitations has been issued to different. So if I see targeted occupations in the Eastern Ontario, the score was 85 and above. Now that is pretty high, very high score. But then this was for the international student stream. If I will see for the employer, for the foreign worker stream, I don't see the Eastern Ontario in this one. However, if I go back to this particular page, you have this Eastern Ontario, and as I move along, then you have the candidates in Northern Ontario. And again, they invited 973 candidates. Foreign work, employer job offer, foreign worker, international, and in-demand skill stream. All three streams have been included. And again, there are these names of all the communities that have been included. Thunder Bay is making its appearance here. So is Sudbury in total. So you see Sudbury, Thunder Bay, if you guys are working over there, you have the employer support, then you would have been invited in this one as well. Again, the score here is not mentioned. You can go to the individual program streams to see what the scores was. Moving along, then they had the employer job offer streams for the REDI pilot. Okay, remember REDI pilot was launched last year, and if you want to see what REDI pilot is, they actually invited 843 candidates. Now, because they have invited 843 candidates, I am not sure if there will be another REDI pilot in future. And the reason for that is, heading over to the REDI website, it says these are the 4 communities that have been included in REDI. So basically, in order to be eligible in REDI pilot, you didn't have to do anything separate. You just needed to be eligible in one of the program streams. And if your employer, or if you were based and your employer was based in one of these 4 communities, you were automatically part of the REDI pilot. Now, the only thing with REDI pilot is that for 2025, 200 nomination spaces from OINP employer job offer streams are allocated to each of the 4 partner communities. And because it is only 200 nomination spaces for each, and there are 4 communities, okay, and they have already issued 800 invitations, I would not be so I don't think there might be another REDI draw, only because this pretty much has done it for them, right? 843 invitations. Anyways, fingers crossed, you never know. But you know what? With REDI pilot, the score was pretty low. Let me just show you here. If I go into the employer job of a foreign worker stream, if I go into the REDI pilot, the score was only 32. Can you beat that? 32 was the score. For people who are in the employer job offer stream, you really will understand when I'm saying this, that 32 is a really, really, really low score for the employer job offer stream. So if you were in one of these communities, this was your incredible opportunities to have cracked it. Anyways, moving back, then the next draw that happened was for the employer job offer streams again. This time it was candidates in health occupation. So this time there is no geography mentioned, there is no location mentioned, which basically means it covered entire Ontario, but this was only for healthcare occupation. And even in healthcare occupations, and they didn't give the number of invitations here, and they invited with a score of 68 and above. 68 is also pretty high as score, but again, if 68 was for international student stream, not very high. For foreign worker stream, pretty high. In demand skill, very high. These are the knock codes. They invited pretty much the doctors, the nurses, physician assistants, licensed practical nurses, nursing aides, home support workers. This is a big one. Home support workers being invited over here as well. That tells you how important and how vital this occupation has been now in Canada, of course, in Ontario as well. You had the home care worker pilot. You have included 44101 home support workers in the in-demand stream, and you have the nursing aides here under the healthcare streams. Tells you how much importance is being paid on this particular occupation. Anyways, they were included in the in the health occupations. In-demand skill stream had a score of only 34. This is where it was. And of course, these occupations, which is 44101, was invited. Score of only 34. So guys, if you were part of this draw, you know for a fact that you've hit a lottery with this one. And then the last one, employer job offer foreign worker stream, targeted occupations invited. And this was only one occupation, and that was 41321. Which is career development practitioners and career counselors. So these were the total 6 occupation categories, or rather, no, not occupation. These are the total 6 program streams under which Ontario chose to invite today. A total of approximately 3,700 invitations were issued. On your screen now, you have the invitation breakdown. So they issued to foreign worker streams 811. International student streams, they have invited 2,540. in-demand skill stream, they invited 372, bringing the total to roughly 3,700 invitations, making it a big draw. All this while, they were not conducting a draw. And when they did conduct a draw, they decided to conduct a draw for almost all their employer streams. Pretty happy to see this happening from Ontario. Now, one very big thing that all of you need to be aware of, and let me show you what I'm trying to tell you. Hold on. Yes. This is the new employer form. Okay. Please make sure, if you have been invited or if your friends have been invited, please let them know that Ontario has basically launched a new employer form, and this employer form has the issue date. If you scroll right down, you will see here at the end here. You see here at the end, it says April of 2024. You need to make sure that this is the form that you are using. It's extremely important. If you don't use this form, as they are saying, your application will be returned back. Where are they saying it? Again, it just sort of always change my screen. Here. In this particular stream, in all the programs, it has said that please note that as of April 2024, all new applications under the employer job offer stream, international student stream, in-demand skill stream, you have to use the updated application for approval of employment position, the employer form. This is mandatory. If you upload the older version, if you have it, maybe your employer has signed it for you earlier, and if you use that form, then this will be refused. So please make sure that the date of the form shows as April 2024. It's extremely important. Other than that, hey, if you guys were invited, congratulations. This is awesome. You now have 14 days to complete the application. If you head over to your Ontario portal, you should now see another entry starting with J0 or JO. That is your invited applications. Click on it. Start completing your information, several information. It's not really tricky. I know some questions in there could be a bit confusing, but if you really pay attention, follow the document checklist. There is a full-fledged detailed document checklist on the Ontario website. They have listed every single document that they need. They've given you a description of the documents that they need. They've explained to you why they need what they need. Follow that document checklist. You don't need any consultant, any lawyer, any agent. You don't need anybody. Don't spend your money. Save your money. You need it. And make sure, just follow that document checklist and you will be absolutely fine. Just put a calendar mark if you want to on that 14-day mark. Don't let this one go, because you know what is happening with the PNPs. You know what's happening with the draws. And if you let this one go, this might be your very lucky chance that you would let go. So this is basically the big news for today. Ontario conducting a draw is always big, because we are all keeping our eyes out for it, because Ontario has very recently also announced that they will be processing their applications slowly. When I'm saying slowly, means because their application quotas have been slashed by 50%. Last year's quotas, or rather last year's applications that they already still have in their inventory, they are still processing them. It will take them longer to process their applications because they don't have that many nominations. Of course, all the provinces will be discussing it with Lena Diab, who's the new immigration minister, to sort of get more allotment allocations for their province. Hopefully, Ontario will as well get that. I'm not sure if they will get any additional allocations for this year, though that is possible as well, but I doubt it very much. At this point of time, Mark Carney, the Prime Minister, Lena Diab, I'm sure they have this responsibility of keeping the immigration numbers in check. They've already announced they're not looking to increase the numbers. It was part of the mandate that they are not looking to increase the immigration numbers. They want to keep it consistent. So whatever has been announced for this year will stick. And therefore, I don't see any quotas being increased for this year. Next year, they may play it around a bit, and maybe nomination quotas will come back for all provinces, where they can go back to inviting the people that they were. But at this point of time, they will pretty much move very slowly. I guess, Parul Shah, that answers your question. Have the provinces been given more quotas? No, provinces have not been given more quotas. On the contrary, they are still working with their slashed 50% draws. Will they carry out more REDI draws? It's a possibility, but I doubt it very much. One, because their quotas for this year is less. Two, they have already issued 843 invitations. Yeah, this year's allotment for each of the four community was 200 invitations or 200 nomination allocations. So unless some people don't accept the nominations, or they don't proceed, or they are refused, rejected, and that number falls below 800, they might conduct a small draw at a later date, but it seems a bit unlikely. Okay, Prabhat says, working in tier 4 skill demand in South Ontario, no REDI, no North, 1.9 years postgraduate work permit left since one third of quotas are done and skill in demand is done with 372 invites. What should I do now? Well, I guess the best thing to do would be, if you still have 1.9 years of postgraduate work permit left, you should head towards communities like Sudbury. Sudbury seems to find a lot of favor. Sudbury is part of, they were invited under the Northern Ontario. They are part of the RCIP. If you really want to sort of take a look, I think REDI also, no, REDI has Thunder Bay. So you might want to go to Thunder Bay instead. Thunder Bay is also part of RCIP. Thunder Bay is also part of Northern Ontario. Thunder Bay is also part of REDI. So I think Thunder Bay would be a great uh, location to basically find an employer and find a job there, and pretty much something to look forward to. I mean, other than that, it's very difficult at this point of time to have or give or impart any specific advice as far as PNPs are concerned. All provinces are pretty much chock-a-chock. There isn't much room with any provinces, and if you change the province and go to a different province, you'll have to start from the scratch. You'll have to start working there. You'll have to show that you've been living in the province, you've been living in the community. And again, depending on which province you go to, it will all matter as to how long you've been living there. For example, Manitoba needs you to be there for 1 year. New Brunswick needs you to be there for 1 year. I think Saskatchewan has 6 months, and then they increased it probably. Each community, each province will have a similar thing. So you might be better off with Thunder Bay. Also remember, if you're targeting RCIP, that is a pilot for 5 years. So the sooner you get there, the better the community relationship you develop, the better the chances you might have with that pathway. Okay. What about the master's stream? Well, I don't have any specific information on any specific stream. I'm just here to talk about today's draw. But I would assume now that Ontario has started conducting these draws, and they started the big one with the employer-driven stream, they might also start squeezing in some draws for masters and PhD as well. I expect to see at least 1 to 2 draw for this year, at least minimum. And I know a lot of you are anxiously waiting, but no, I don't have any specific information as to what exactly do they have. What about HCP? Well, same thing goes. I don't have any inside news. I don't have any specific news. Would they conduct a tech draw? Seems difficult. Even last year, they steered away from any tech draws as such. Towards the end of the year, they actually invited some large number of very generic occupations, which were largely finance, largely administration, of course, engineering. But I didn't see any specific preference for IT tech for the last few months as well. So very difficult to say whether they will come back with the tech at this point of time. Human capital priorities may find preference, but I think at this point of time, because there is a mandate that they have from the federal government. Saskatchewan already made it very, very clear that they have been told by the federal government to target majority of their nominations towards people who are already inside Canada. Now, if that is the mantra, if that is the mandate, then because human capital priorities basically does not differentiate between people inside Canada or outside Canada, therefore human capital priorities may have a lower priority. Maybe a draw or two possible, of course. They might want to bring in some healthcare categories from outside Canada as well, but very, very difficult to speculate with Ontario. I mean, we didn't even know they were going to hold a draw today, right? So very difficult to speculate, but I'm just sharing my views with you on that one. Okay, very quickly going to clear off these super chats here. The Francophone mobility program, when it is expiring, 15th of June or 30th of June. I gave TEF exam. I got 5 in listening, but only 4 in speaking. Well, I honestly don't remember. I have to be very honest with you. I don't remember whether it's 15th June or 30th of June. I will take a look at it. If you comment below after this stream, I will come back at some point of time and I will let you know. I don't really remember the exact date when it ends, because there was no specific, if I remember correctly, there is no specific date given as to this is the date when this francophone mobility will end. All it said is that this is valid for 2 years. Now, would it be 2 years from the date of the day it was implemented, or 2 years from the month end of the month? I'm not very sure about that one, but I think, and I absolutely, and this is as per the latest Mark Carney's comment and latest Lena Diab's comment in the parliament as well, where she said that what was that? The priority for francophones will continue, and the 12% is what they are targeting now for the francophone immigration outside Quebec. With that in mind, I think francophone international mobility program, the francophone mobility program will also continue. It's just a matter of time. We are already started with the month of June. Anytime in a week or two, you will hear of the francophone mobility being extended, probably for another 2 years. So it would be in your favor to try and get your results updated at the earliest. If I got nomination in April 24 for master's stream, application still in progress, can OINP still withdraw, refuse nomination given due to recent Ontario changes? I would believe yes. If they do receive, if that act is passed in their parliament and if that gets implemented, then Ontario will have the authority to cancel any immigration stream that they have, and will also be able to cancel any ongoing applications. I'm sure it will be retrospective, because that is exactly maybe what they want right now. That could be the purpose of tabling this act. Are all the provinces, we just already spoke about this. 0601, I don't know what that means. Oh, you mean 1st of June. CRS changed to 536 was 525 due to 3 years CEC experience being compiled in July but have paid vacation for 2 years. What to do if ITA tomorrow? Well, if you get ITA tomorrow, please continue working, because you have 3 years of experience. 2 weeks per year would be counted as paid vacation, eligible, acceptable. So you wouldn't have a problem at all. I think 2 months also, if it was only 2 months in the entire 3 years, you would not have any issues at all. At least I don't think so. And if you do get an ITA, let's say tomorrow, just submit the application towards the end of your 60-day period so that you continue working and you cover up for any shortfall. But I don't think any problem here. You get 2 weeks per year anyways for your paid leave. So that would be 6 weeks. All you need is 2 more weeks to cover up. And I think you should be fine with that. My work permit is expiring in November and I'm eligible for foreign worker stream under cybersecurity knock code. What are my chances? Shall accept if I receive invitation? I'm not sure what you're trying to ask me. If you get an invitation, of course, accept it. I mean, why wouldn't you accept it? So as far as what your chances are concerned, I really can't tell you. I'm not sure if Ontario is looking to invite any IT at this point of time. At least it didn't seem so. If they would, they also haven't invited any trade. So there could be a possibility of a draw, maybe, that they're holding back on. Very difficult to say or for me to speculate, because this information is not available. So very difficult for me to sort of speculate and say, okay, these knock codes may be a possibility or they may get invited or not. So, I mean, as much as I would like to tell you whether IT knock codes will get invited, but I mean, at the end of the day, if you have an active profile, active expression of interest, that's all you can do at this point of time. Other than that, if you are, I'm hoping you're already practicing on French, so you will have an opportunity to at least extend your work permit if Francophone mobility program also gets extended. But this is pretty much all I can share with you. Applied federal under AIP. Forgot to mention salary, but I have attached the pay stubs. Most of the people get ADR in AIP, and I'm expecting soon. Should I submit web form or wait for ADR? Well, if you have additional documents that you think could support your application, you can raise a web form and you can send it to IRCC. And if you still get the ADR, then of course you can submit those documents as well. But if you have the documents, by all means, please go ahead and submit them. Nothing here, Catherine and Hema. I'm sorry, nothing here. But then if there are still any questions, please post them in the comments below. I will come back today and tomorrow. I will try to answer as many questions as I can. Well, that's all I have for you guys. If you still have more questions, you want to discuss that one-on-one, drop us an email. We'll be very happy to take over your application if you want us to handle it. If you're looking for a representative, if you wish to book an appointment, this is the link, askkubeir.com/appointment. Very happy to discuss your case, your questions, your queries one-on-one. Thank you for joining in. It was lovely catching up again and talking about Ontario Draw. Why wouldn't we all be happy? Congratulations to everybody who received one. I shall see you next time. Until then, stay forever hopeful.